It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
What's up, everybody? Cats Talk Wednesday. Terry T.B. Brown, Vinny Hardy here, BS3 Network. Follow us all there on the graphic. Got all our stuff right there. T Brown _80, the Viral King. We got the Headline King, Robert Littell, that comes on here. We got the Viral King, Terry Brown. It's on here every week. Follow BS3 Network, BS3 Sports, Cats Talk Wednesday, all the above, all the platforms, and we're happy to come to y'all each and every week.
Yep.
TV, if this was the old days, we'd still have 5 hours and 16 minutes until, no, wait a minute. Today's the 15th. We would have been talking about Midnight Madness that happened at 12 o'clock a.m. this morning, 12:01. It would have just happened at Memorial, Kenny Walker and all them running out at 12:01 today, October 15th, the official. But, that happened on the 11th. It happened on Saturday. And, you've already had that. It's already come and gone.
Yeah, I miss the Midnight Madness. I remember way back my undergrad days, which is getting. Look, man, let me tell you what. You know how we used to laugh at those fuzzy highlights? Dad would be talking about Oscar Robertson and stuff like that. He'd be like, that looked forever ago. I'm really tired of stuff from 1996 looking like it was taken on a handheld camera or something. Like, was it really that bad? Like, what are we doing here? But anyway, the kickoff to the season, it is upon us. I think the Purdue exhibition is next week, and it feels like we're 3 weeks away from the Louisville men's basketball game.
Because we are.
Yeah, I know. It's wild and crazy, but basketball season is upon us for the UK men, UK women, both top 25 teams, both trying to do that double dip, get to the Final Four, and I'm excited. Year 2 for Mark Pope, year 2 for Kenny Brooks. I'm excited. I watched a little bit of the Big Blue Madness live because, as I was saying before we got on, to me, that's really an event that you have to be there for. To me, it's one of those things that you have to, if you're in the arena, it's a whole lot different. It doesn't really translate well to TV, but that's just me, and I'm an old person. But because I'm here in Iowa, I watched a little bit live off and on, then obviously caught the highlights. John Wall coming back, doing the John Wall dance. That's great.
Yes.
I hope that is an olive branch from Coach Pope and from the basketball program, from the university, that Cal's guys are still welcome.
Oh, yeah.
I think that goes a long way toward keeping the continuity, keeping those guys engaged, because I think Cal did a great job of reaching back to those players that played for Rupp, right? And we've seen a lot of Joe B. Hall's players come back. And I think that that's part of what makes Kentucky special. So I'm hoping that's something we see moving forward. And it's hard to forget how cool John Wall was. I think when we look at particularly post-probation, you've probably got Mashburn and Wall are the two important guys that got this thing going. I think that I don't think there's any argument with that. He's also on my list of guys that his name needs to be up in the rafters. Not only was he the recruit that got Kentucky back on the map, he was the first National Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that counts for something too. So I would love to see a reach back to some of those guys and celebrate our history. You can't have the banners up there without recognizing the guys that helped put them there.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part part of it. But as far as this year's team, I'm going through my learning curve because I'm an old person now. I got my cheat sheet for names and numbers. The new folks, I know the names, got to get the numbers and the faces going. It takes me a little bit longer every year. So bear with me. I got to come out with, you know how I like to do my puns during the game.
Oh, yeah.
The right way and the wrong way and the O way. I got that one still in the chamber. I still got what I share with you that I tweet out every time Trent Noah does well. And my goodness, your homeboy has kind of gone from, I don't want to say afterthought, because I don't think that's appropriate, but probably, hey, this guy will be great as a senior, to how are we going to keep him off the floor as a sophomore?
Yeah.
Like that's, I think that was a little unexpected, but it's like, he's going to get some minutes. And I think that's the name of the game for this team is they look like they can all shoot. And I'm excited. I saw a lot of people interacting with a Louisville fan, that Rashawn, that says the team isn't very good. They got no alpha dogs. And I'm like, why are y'all falling for this?
The one that said that Owe is a role player and isn't going to be used to being man.
Yeah. He had a couple of good games against Oklahoma.
Right.
And I'm like, why are y'all arguing with Louisville fans that haven't seen good basketball in 7 years?
Yeah.
Why are y'all arguing with them? Right? Like, it doesn't matter who we roll out there. Kentucky wins 75% of the time. Like, what are we doing? So don't argue with them. And who knows who's going to be the alpha dog. But I think Owe seems to comport himself, you know, seeing him at the media days, that he is the guy. And for my money, I think most people would agree. Coaching is important, but you need a guy on the team. You need a player on the team that sets the tone. You know, I think of a Tyler Eulis, right? I think of a Chuck Hayes, a guy. It's great if it's your most talented guy, but it doesn't have to be, right? But somebody needs to be, this is how we do things.
Mm-hmm.
And Owe is saying the right things, doing the right things to get these guys in line. And it seems like we have a really good squad of guys.
Yeah.
Really, really talented. Looks like they can play different ways. Can you win games in the 50s? I think this team can. Can you win games in the 90s? I think this team can. And so that roster flexibility that Coach Pope has, I'm really excited about. Going to be a lot of threes shot. They're going to play up and down. Right guy's going to take the right shot at the right time. So I'm very, very excited. The women's team, again, Coach Brooks, he's building things. Not only for this year, but he's got recruits for the class of 26, like 3 top 25 or top 30 recruits coming to Lexington next year. This year, Claire Strack, friend of the show, had her on a few weeks ago. She's set to make some noise again. I saw the AP had them low. And I'm a little surprised about that.
Yeah, I got some quibbles too, because like you said, they're like 24th. SEC Media Days is happening right now in Birmingham. They're picked 8th in the SEC behind a lot of teams that they smacked last year. I mean, they beat Oklahoma down there.
Yeah.
Ran Tennessee off the floor in Memorial. I forget who else is above them, but I'm like, okay, beat them, but they picked ahead of us. Okay, pick us 8th if you want to. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, and it's you know, I don't put a whole lot of stock in preseason polls because you don't get anything for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's nice, don't get me wrong, but you don't get anything for that, because if preseason polls are all about it, then Texas and Penn State would be in the top 25.
We got to talk about all that. Got to talk about that for sure. Because Mr. Franklin, what a 3 weeks he had. But going back to, you know, you say OA is the guy, and you know, preseason stuff doesn't matter, but he, you know, in spite of what the guy from Louisville saying, he's preseason SEC Player of the Year. Yep. They voted him that for a reason. So he was more than just a role player last year to get nominated for that. And also that Jalen Lowe too, I think you talk about getting the guys in line. I know he's new and he's still finding his way. I think he's going to be one of those another in the line of good Kentucky point guards. And as far as getting guys in line, he's on a good team now. You know, poor little Pitt has taken so many strays because he was the only good player and he was having to take all these bad shots because he had the ball and the offense was terrible and he had to jack it up. I think you put him with this team, I think he's going to have that leadership to go right along with Oweh. I think they're going to go hand in hand, and it's a good squad too.
And this year's squad appears to be more athletic.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the downside to the team last year. A lot of heart, a lot of talent, but they just weren't very athletic. Mm-hmm. And I think that this year's team will be a little bit better in that aspect. And we'll see that on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not too worried about the offense, but it's the defensive side that we've got to step up. That's what killed Kentucky against Tennessee the tournament. Yeah. And you look at a lot of those losses, it's like that the defense has got to get a little bit better. And I think it will be better. So again, I know ranked 9th and Trent Noah's number 9, and it feels like an old Sesame Street thing where they used to have the letter of the day, the number of the day. Everybody's talking about number 9. I get it. We all get it. We all understand the assignment. Let's go play some basketball at this point.
Oh, well, yeah. As long as you didn't say it like Fergie said it, you're all right. Let's play some basketball. Oh, yeah. But Mo Diabate, you talk about defense. One of the few guys that gave Oweh some trouble every time we played him,
yeah, is
now left the Tide and joined the Cats, because that dude is he's hard nosed, he's tough, yeah. Athleticism, that tenacity, and he's not afraid to just roll his sleeves up and, hey, if we gonna get dirty, here we go. And that's the kind of guys you want to have. And I'm sure if Oweh was like, who was your toughest defenders, he wouldn't get far down the list before Mr. Diabate's name probably came up. So
right. And this is one of those things, I think, with the way the roster came together, there's no surprises. It's not a situation where somebody got recruited over or they brought in. All these guys knew what they were getting into when they signed up, I would think. So in this new age of NIL and all this kind of stuff, these guys knew what they were signing up for. Mm-hmm. They knew this team was going to be 10 deep, which I think I think that's a fair assessment to say it is going to be 10 deep. I don't know who the starters are going to be. That's my least favorite discussion every offseason is who's the starter. I don't know. You don't know. Like, we're basing it off what they did last year, what they think we'll do. The coaches are watching them every day in practice. So that's who the starters are going to be. And it's going to take some games. Remember, Anthony Epps did not start as a starter in 1996. Mm-hmm. And Kentucky lost to UMass and Coach Cal. Mm-hmm. Epps comes a starter, and they rattle off 26 or 27 straight victory. So I think it's going to be fluid who the starters are. But I think we'll see the minutes really be evenly distributed.
Yeah.
And you've got so many combinations to counteract what the other team is doing. I think it's going to be one of those things where we'll see, like, Oweh is going to be the constant, I feel. But it's just going to be one of those things. Okay, all right. Trent got the hot hand, go. Lowe got the hot hand, go. Like, it's going to be one of these kinds of things. And I feel that the staff is smart enough, Coach Pope is smart enough and has a feel that we're going to see a lot of that.
Colin Chandler over here just showing out. Okay. Denzel Aberdeen won a championship and still came to Lexington. Where he probably would have, speaking of roles, Mr. Louisville, probably would have had a bigger role at Florida as a returner, still elected to come to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And if you heard Pope, he scared us to death preparing for him. And now he's on our side now. So
yeah, I'm excited. I think again, year 2 of Pope, year 2 of Coach Brooks. Both basketball teams are trending in the right direction. Because part of that, like you and I talk about all the time, is you got to have an identity. And I think both coaches have a strong identity for what they want on the court. and for their program. And I'm excited. Again, I feel it in my bones. Next few years, we're going to get that double dip of both teams in the Final Four.
Yo, you mentioned the exhibition game with Purdue. Michelle, #1 fan, how much of a challenge would Purdue be for us? Their polls don't matter or whatever, but they're #1 team in the country. So they'll be a little bit more of a challenge than, say, Kentucky Wesleyan, athletes
Right.
in action.
Oh, yeah. Athletes in action, take it way back. Yeah.
They got a squad, and Painter's a good coach. They was just in the Final Four. They were in the national championship game against UConn a couple years ago.
Couple years ago, yeah.
They don't have Zach Edey anymore, but that point guard has been there forever. That Braden Smith, and they got some players. So it's an exhibition, like you said. But we were talking before you came on. You said even when you played in exhibitions, you still had that game 7 mentality. So
yeah,
Rupp is gonna be lit, and it's gonna be a good game and atmosphere. It's gonna feel like way more than an exhibition.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that teams do this. I would love to see some more high quality games during the season before conference play. They're talking about expanding the tournament, which is a dumb idea. It's dumb because you're already getting teams. Like, my thing is, if you've got a losing record in conference, you don't belong. That's my 2 cents. I'd rather take one more MAC or WAC or the conference that Drake is in. I can't remember. But there's
Horizon League.
It's not Horizon. It's MWC with
Summit.
I can't remember, but what Loyola is in. Give me a couple more of those teams, because what's going to happen is you're going to get a bunch of below 500 SEC teams in, and that's just not great. And you can point to, and Seth Davis loves to, well, look at this team. They were last 4 in and made it that whatever. It doesn't need to. We don't need to expand it. It's like when we expand it with the bowls, just so more teams could say, we've been to a bowl 6 years in a row, and all right, man. All right, cool. You're playing the Poinsettia Bowl the day after Thanksgiving. It ain't quite the same as a New Year's Day bowl. And I say that with my beloved Wildcats going to some of those, but I don't want to expand the tournament. So I think the compromise should be, if you're a Power 4 school, you got to play more. Got to play more teams. And that's even with the SEC being as brutal as it is, the Big Ten being as brutal as it is. You got to do something in the pre-conference.
Looking like Drake is in the Missouri Valley.
Missouri Valley, yeah, MVC, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
So, you mentioned losing record in conference. That is your body of work. I mean, you just played 14, 16, 18, however many games your conference plays, and if you couldn't break even or better, that kind of tells you, your Parcells, you are what your record says you are.
And and I wouldn't be, I don't know. It's just expanding the playoffs. It does it yield better results, especially in a single elimination tournament. Again, I'm on the record. The NCAA tournament, great TV. A poor way to pick a champion, right? Like, it's just it's a poor way to do that. I think baseball's got a better way. A lot of you got to win a 2 out of 3, then 3 out of 5, then 7, 5 out of 7, 4 out of 7, 4 out of 7. I think that's a better way to do things. Otherwise, single elimination, that's how you get Eli Manning with 2 Super Bowls, right? That's how you get this randomness. But I'm also reminded, everybody loves the Cinderellas, but only for the first weekend.
Yeah.
Because I had forgotten that the 2023 Final Four, Miami, Florida Atlantic, San Diego, and UConn, buddy, nobody watched. So everybody can say they don't want Kentucky and Duke and Kansas and Carolina, whoever. But you know who does? CBS.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know, and that's not a knock on college basketball. That's basically everything except the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the only thing independent of whoever shows up.
Yeah.
And as we've seen, the game didn't have to be that good. You know, the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl was that, 10-3? Like, the game does not even have to be that good at all. And people get, because it's a whole thing. But everything else, it depends. And, you know, people get mad when, you know, advertisers like, yeah, NBA, we'd love to have the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals. Well, they're just trying to cheat. No, because they know the random people will watch that.
Yeah. I mean, from back in the 60s, it was Lakers Celtics when the Lakers could never beat them. In the 80s, Lakers Celtics. The early 2000s, 2008?
In 10, yeah. Doing numbers. The same way the top, I think it's 4 out of the top 5 divisional round games, most watched divisional round games in NFL history, it's Cowboys and Niners. Like, say what you want to, but those advertisers and those, yeah, of course they want that matchup. Why would Fox not want Niners Cowboys?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We don't want the needle to be moved. No, we don't want that.
Like, of course they do. So I understand it. Now the commissioner and stuff need to try to be impartial, but yeah, advertisers, of course they want that.
More eyeballs, yeah, boy.
Yeah, you know, a Dodgers Yankee series would do great, you know.
Yeah. Which that's what last year, wasn't it? Yeah. Finally, that was the first time since back in the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
Fernando and all those guys.
Since way back when, yeah.
I got to go back to I know we talked about Big Blue Madness, but I can't not talk about, you know, maybe it is better for TV or better to be there. I did watch it all. But Trent Noah, his intro, he had Jordan Smith, who won The Voice. Jordan popped up out of the floor, and then they both, you know, saying "You Never Leave Harlan Alive." So both of them being from Harlan, singing that. Of course, everybody knows if you watch The Voice and you know about Jordan, you know how good he can sing. So both of them to do that was really neat. Now maybe more so to me because I'm from Harlan County. Maybe people the rest of the state were like, okay, but that was neat. The intros, some of the intros are cool. I like college. I'm getting a little old. Don't know everybody's music. Don't know everybody's artist. But I like what Jordan and Trent did.
Yeah.
Plus, it was nobody had anybody live pop out. That might be something they do in the future or something. But you know that John Wall, and then Trent and Jordan, I enjoyed both of those.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. It's just like I said, it's better when you're there. But yeah, because I knew whatever highlights you're going to get those the next day or that night. But yeah, cool to see John Wall. I know the Trent Noah thing, awesome. Hey, Harlan County, man, you know, give a shout out. I think Harlan County is becoming that spot, one of those places that people know in Kentucky.
They got a big old billboard of Trent across from Rupp with Harlan County Tourism. It's Trent Noah. So yeah, you know, you walking downtown Lexington and
thanks to Justified and things like that. Harlan County is on the map, man.
Yeah, getting some exposure. So yeah, for sure. Michelle is right. I think the volleyball team, as you say, the best team on campus. They do play Auburn. I think it's.
Yeah, they beat Texas A&M. They've only lost to this point one set in SEC play, so they're looking to be locked in to get yet another 11th SEC championship and position themselves for home court through the NCAA tournament. I mean, Coach Skinner, I don't even know what you begin to say with the consistency that he's built in the program. So I tip my hat to them. You know, football team had a bye, so good for them.
Yeah.
Hey, look, when we talk about football, again, I think that you have to keep in mind I say it all the time, but I'm gonna repeat myself. The Coach K thing, that's the anomaly. Most coaches, even great coaches, you start to have those discussions. How is this going to end?
Mm.
Right? And it may be some things out of your control, like a Joe Paterno, like you look at Bobby Bowden, right? You look at some of these coaches that have been institutions. Somebody's got to tell them when to go. Whether it's a Bo Schembechler, whether it's Woody Hayes, although that helped.
Yeah.
Right. Him punching the kid from Clemson helped.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look, he had a lot of 7-win seasons before that. So you start having that discussion about what's it going to look like when you could say the best coach leaves. Yeah. I think you have to have a succession plan. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I have defended Mitch Barnhart for a while because I thought he's done a pretty credible job. But the last few years, I don't know. I understand wanting to take care of Stoops because he's, all-time winningest coach and blah, 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 blah. But that's a bad contract. Because now it's become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we don't know what happens behind the scenes. Everybody thinks they know, but nobody knows. But somebody's got to come up with that $40 million
in 60 days. Apparently,
right.
No installment plan.
So, which is that is bad business. Like, how is that? Unless you've got assurances from boosters. I ain't talking about people that you know who they are. I'm talking about every school, every athletic department has people. I'm not saying this like Illuminati. I'm saying boosters that those people make the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a feeling that the boosters at Penn State said, yeah, it's time.
Hey, boy.
And you can't lose those boosters, right? You can't lose. Fans are going to complain online. No sports fan is ever happy. The only time a sports fan is truly happy is when the confetti is coming down, is currently coming down, and their team wins a championship. Because once the confetti stops, people stop being happy.
Yep.
I don't care what fan base you are, who it is. That's not Kentucky fans. That's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Winning a championship doesn't give you anything, right? You get no cover for that. So unless it is actively coming down, everybody's miserable.
Yep. That's
just the way it goes. Now, but it's those big money people that make those decisions. And Penn State decided Franklin had to go. Now, losing to UCLA, terrible. And it wasn't just that they lost. I don't know if you watched any of that game. It was like they didn't practice at all. Like, I there was that punt where the punter just kind of, at the end for the safety, he stood back there for like 10 seconds. And I don't know. It was a failure all across the board. But you can't then lose to Northwestern at home. That becomes a gots-to-go situation.
Yeah, I mean, he got the fair nod. He got that, well, kind of fair. Once again, your record is, you are what your record says you are. You talked about it a million times on here that fans will pop up and knock off Ohio State and Michigan every once in a while. James Franklin, every time they play Ohio State, every time they play a big game, he always coming up short. He always come. This was their year. They was ranked what, top three, top whatever,
three.
top three to start the
year.
This was their year. Oregon has to fly across the country to come there. Now, there's no shame in losing to Oregon. Oregon's been this century Oregon's been a power. They played for a national championship against Auburn and Cam and all them, and Nike, Phil Knight, all the uniforms. Look, Oregon, to the young kids, Oregon is a blue blood. Just because they've been around. They constant. No shame in losing that. But like you said, you go to UCLA, and look, I'm outside of Knoxville. You and I talk about it's fun to hate watch stuff. It's fun to hate outside the club. These Tennessee fans, ever since Nico got up out of that whole mess with Nico Iamaleava when they lost in the playoffs to Ohio State, and now he want more money, and don't give him no more. He got to go. His daddy want more money. His family is hypo and all that. Anyway, he goes to UCLA. They end up getting the quarterback from UCLA, this Aguilar, that's coming to Tennessee. These Tennessee fans have been hate watching every UCLA game, and they was getting smoked by the cupcakes. New Mexico State and directional Montana Eastern Community College, they was getting blasted. And so I literally looked, I was like, these boys might not win the game this year. If they can't beat Northwestern, if UCLA can't beat Northwestern, I said they won't win a game. And next thing I know, they boat racing Penn State.
I mean, push them around, and you can't have that, right? And so I don't know where Penn State fits in college football. Like, I think it's probably a tier 2 school, right? Last national championship was 80-something, if I'm not mistaken. They should have won in 95 with Kajana Carter and Kerry Collins and them. They were undefeated, but whatever. But that was 30 years ago, right?
And when we was 10, they was a blue blood, right? That was one of the fixtures. Yeah. Notre Dame and Penn State and Michigan and Ohio State and Alabama, and they was in there then.
But Penn State's just a name, and so it's basically James Franklin had a worse Big Ten head-to-head record against Michigan and Ohio State than Kirk Ferentz at Iowa.
See,
and so as I always say, Kentucky fans, for whatever reason, like to use Iowa, and not just them, but everybody like, Iowa's this. Hey, the reason Ferentz is there for 25 years is not because Iowa doesn't care. What you do is you win the games you're supposed to win. You win some of the games that are toss-ups, and then you win a few of those where you beat one of the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do that, then you got to go. Because Iowa played Wisconsin for one of those trophies. I can't remember the trophy. It's not the Florida Rosedale. It's the pig. Whatever. It's a pig trophy. I don't even know. And they beat them 37-0 in Madison.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It was the first shutout for Wisconsin at home since 1980, right? Now, on the outside looking in, right, because I've had people tell me that, it's just Wisconsin. They're not very good. And I'm like, we don't beat anybody 37-0, so whatever. But he wins the games that have those stupid trophies. That means something. And so college football is of all the sports, college football is the most emotional. It has the most to do with feeling, right? Because you got the tailgate, right? You got homecoming, got all this pageantry for the home games, right? You got marching bands. It's very emotional, right? The school fight song. It's very emotional. You've got to win those games. You can't be out here and your team's not having hope. And yes, I'm talking about the dude also coaching my alma mater, Stoops, right? Where you can't have this general malaise within the fan base. You can't have a situation where you get picked number 3 in the country and you're out here getting outclassed by UCLA and Northwestern, right? Like And this is not a special Northwestern team. There's no Adrian and Darnell Autry, taking it back to 96.
Yeah.
Where everything lines up for them. This is just a pretty mundane Northwestern team. I watched a little bit of Northwestern and Oregon. I'm like, oh, this is a Northwestern team, right? I've seen Northwestern, so you can't lose that game, right? So pulling it back to Kentucky, like we can't just have no hope against Vanderbilt. We can't get punked out by South Carolina, right? We can't lose we can't have these nail biter games against the directional schools.
Yeah.
Because, for everything that people say about Iowa, they win by crazy scores. They get to 21 points without a touchdown, which I didn't know you could do in a football game, but yeah, you can if you get 3 safeties and a bunch of field goals, right? But the thing is, Iowa wins those games. Like, we can ha-ha, he, but they win those games.
Yeah.
Kentucky doesn't, right? So you beat the teams you're supposed to beat. You win more of the games where you're evenly matched, and you still won every now and then.
Yep.
Like that's the recipe. Because if you're not Alabama, you're not Ohio State, you're not some of these other top teams where the national championship is the ultimate goal. It's really about feeling. And that's really the downside to these expanded conferences, because now you're playing teams you don't get that feeling, right? That's what I love about the SEC. I know we got Texas and A&M and Missouri, but part of it is you're in Nashville. You're outside of Knoxville. So you're going to run into UT fans. They're going to run into you, right? Atlanta, all 16 teams are representative. But you can be a Kentucky fan in Atlanta, and you're going to see somebody with that ugly ball orange. You're going to hear somebody roll tide. That's what it's about, right? Is you're going to run into these people. Like, for the Big Ten, Chicago's got graduates from all the Big Ten schools. So you can wear your Hawkeye stuff and you can give it to a Buckeye fan. You can give it to a Spartan because there's that overlap. You're not running anybody from USC and UCLA out here. It don't feel the same beating Rutgers.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. I think the Oweh thing kind of added some spice to Oklahoma, but I don't think about Oklahoma. I haven't thought about Oklahoma since Mookie Blaylock.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, to Stacey King and them. Take it back. But that's what I'm talking about. Is football makes you feel good. Like, because again, Iowa borders Wisconsin and Minnesota, and they got those trophies, right? So you know how it is living close to a border. That's a rivalry that makes you feel good. Like, we got the pig trophy this year. You ain't got it. Like, that's what it's about, right? And so you start taking that away, it don't feel the same.
No.
I want Kentucky to go to Texas A&M, but it ain't gonna feel the same. We got those new home or the permanent rivals or whatever. Like, give me Tennessee, man. I want to play Tennessee and everything.
We got that. We got Tennessee for 4 more years. South Carolina and get the other one. Tennessee, South Carolina. But yeah.
But you got all these matchups that people don't care about, man. Like, Iowa State played Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. Like, who cares about that? Like, who like, why? But at the very least, in the SEC, that's why I'm glad that, like, because me and the wife were talking about it. Like, we lucked out because Kentucky didn't move, right? So, yeah, we play a weird team every now and then. But most of the teams I don't like, we still play fairly often. Yep. But if you're USC and UCLA, like, it's got to suck, man.
Yeah.
Because you're going all – in Oregon, you're going all over the country. Like, man, you sign up to go to USC, now you got to come to Iowa City in November. That doesn't sound like fun at all.
That's right.
At least if you're in Champaign, Illinois, going to Iowa City, it's a step up.
Hey.
I got to poke the bear a little bit, But that's my thing is, it's we're missing that. But back to the coaching thing. But Franklin, he gonna get his money they got that thing where he's got to look for a job, buddy. I'd be looking for a job too. Like, yeah. I applied to be coach of the New York Yankees. Like, you looking for a job? I'm looking. Wink, wink.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I'm looking for a job. But Frank, like you said though, the thing is, you are who you are. And again, his last 42 games, he was 34-8, but it was the wrong 8.
Yeah,
like, of those 8 can't be Northwestern, UCLA, right? Like, it's one of those things. Looking at Cal's record, toward the end of Kentucky, like, man, beating these directional schools is fine, man, but I don't want to be out here losing to South Carolina at home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's one of those things. How does it make you feel?
Yeah. Yep. Because, I mean, Franklin lost to Oregon, then UCLA, and maybe if you stop it at 2, maybe you survive. But our accounts, he doesn't seem to be a likable dude anyway. So when stuff goes bad, then you got people that you done already rubbed the wrong way for who knows how many years. That's just gonna expedite them wanting you out of there. That you just giving them a chance to get him on out. We ain't like him anyway.
Making that move at this time of the year, they were ready for him to go this offseason.
Yeah.
Like somebody was like, yeah, he's got to go. Like, I don't know who the boosters are. I don't know what there is at Penn State for what their economy looks like. But somebody that writes big checks is like, it's time. That's how it goes, right? Is like somebody's like, it's time.
I think we both listened to Bomani. I thought Bomani said that the owner of the Bills went to Penn State and was one of the big high rollers with Penn State. Now the guy that just knew on I've seen him interviewed or whatever, but there wasn't really a relationship with Franklin. Franklin wasn't really cool with him, and you think he would know who to be cool with, how to move and how to shake and how to vibe and all this. And he wasn't cool with, if you own the Bills, you got checks. They get a new stadium up there in Buffalo. He got the money, and apparently, it wasn't the vibes wasn't that great between the two of those dudes. And then you go out and lose to Northwestern and UCLA. Well, I ain't cool with you no way. Step on out of here.
You get that checkbook out. It's like probably the worst job in America at the college level, I would have to say, is the track coach at Oregon. The track coach at Oregon, because Phil Knight created Nike because he ran track at Oregon. And I remember reading something not too long ago, like Phil Knight will show up at Oregon track practice. He will be in the stands at meets. And he's like, if the coach ain't doing, like, you got to get out. Like, that's the kind of, like, that, like, there's no secret billionaire. It is me. And I'm sitting here watching you and everything you do. And so, because he had one of the coaches fired, had him fired. I need to find that article, but it was basically like, well, the new school president basically was saying, well, Phil Knight doesn't run the University of Oregon. And Phil Knight said, because he gives, and I'm saying these numbers, I don't know if they're accurate, like, he gives like $200 million to athletics and $200 million to the school. And so one year he doesn't make the $200 million grant or whatever.
Yeah.
They got a new president at the University of Oregon. The new president said, I look forward to working with Phil Knight so we can have we can all come together for the University of Oregon, blah, 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 blah. Look, man, I'm not hating. If I was a billionaire, buddy, I would work brown into being a color at the University of Kentucky if I was. So I'm not hating at all. I'm gonna need Coach Pope to come shoot hoops with my grandkids in the driveway down the road. Like, yeah. If I'm a Bill, oh heck yeah. I think about that all the time. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have me a box over in Levi's. I'm gonna be courtside where Jack used to sit at Crypto. Me and the wife will be singing the 7th inning stretch at Wrigley. Like, let me get some money. I'm an active fool.
You sit where Jack used to sit. He don't sit there no more.
He hasn't been to a game. I think he's having some declining health issues because he hasn't been to a game in a while, because I want to say he was there the last time, I think, is right when LeBron broke the scoring record.
Oh, okay.
I think he was there, and maybe there was another game. But no, he's not there a lot. Yeah, used to sit. He's not there smoking courtside like he used to in the 80s. That is a little bit different. Little bit different.
Michelle said you mentioned Levi, so she was the kicker who made the field goal for the Bears, and he wasn't your boy Moody that was
Moody, yeah.
They was trying to beat him up and run him out of town, and he out here winning the games for the Bears.
Yeah, look, man, he just needed a change of scenery. But kickers, it's such a weird thing anyway, because they're always by themselves. Like, they're not running plays at practice. And so you miss a couple, and you got to sit with that, right? Like, you look at if you ever go to an NFL game, just watch the kicker. Like, nobody talks to him. Maybe the holder, maybe the long snapper, but the long snapper is doing other things on special teams too. I just think you can get into your head, and the margins are so slim in NFL games. Hey, you need a kicker you can trust. And so I was a little shocked when they took Moody in the 3rd round a few years ago. Yeah, I know. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Niners don't do great at the top of the draft.
Okay.
Work wonders at the back, man. Got to talk about my man Fred and Kittle and Purdy at the back end of the draft. Like, they find the diamonds in the rough, but the first that's how you get the Trey Lances, and I think Bosa is probably the only like top 5 pick that they've made that's been pretty good. But yeah, Moody, he kicked a 50-something yarder in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. But he just needed a change of scenery, because he couldn't keep doing what he was doing in San Francisco, leaving points on the field.
So I think he just got into town. Nobody even knew him. I mean, nobody really knew him in San Francisco until he started missing, and Debo was trying to beat him down and stuff. But then he just gets to Chicago, and they stole the game from Washington Monday, because Washington turned it over. They had it in control, and they turned it over, fumbled the handoff, and the Bears went down there and got in field goal range and got the kick. So and good for the Bears. I guess I don't know. I don't really keep up with the Bear stuff. Although I did see. I can't remember. It was a Bears player that was on that 06 team with Rex Grossman. I can't remember what podcast he was talking about. Like, Bears fans need to give Rex Grossman way more credit. Like, that team was good. Yeah.
And they give Cutler and Rex Grossman a little bit more credit.
Because I saw you talking about all these Bears fans up in arms about whatever Troy was saying Monday night, because they feel he was too negative to Caleb Williams, and he was saying they were lucky, and now all these accounts saying, why is Troy a Hall of Famer, and they putting Troy's numbers up against Ryan Tannehill and Jay Cutler and all this. As quarterback starved as y'all have been since Jim McMahon, outside of Cutler and Grossman that you mentioned, as quarterback starved as y'all have been, y'all got one little 3-game win streak now. You beat the Cowboys, and now y'all just can pop off about who's a Hall of Fame quarterback and who's not and all this and that. No offense to your Bears, Michelle, but you need to come get your fan base. You need to come get your people and calm them down. They get a little out of pocket.
That's why I tweeted what I tweeted today is Football can't be numbers. Baseball is numbers, right?
Yeah.
It used to be with 300 wins, 500 home run, like numbers, numbers. Football, you can't do that because games were played differently, right? You can't. It just was, right? That's why I tweeted out. Do you know who has got more passing yards and more touchdowns than Joe Montana?
You said Kerry Collins or something?
Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has more touchdown passes and has passed for more yards than Joe Montana. Do you know who's right behind Joe Montana and Johnny Unitas in passing yards? Andy Dalton will probably pass both of them by the end of the year.
Man.
Now, is that saying that, well, he's got more passing yards? What did Joe Montana do? No, because it takes nuance and context. That's required for football. You can't just say, well, this guy passed for a bunch of yards, because the game has changed. We don't pass the ball or run the ball like we used to.
No.
I looked it up because a lot of people like to tell me, hey, TB, Jerry Rice in the Hall of Fame because he played with Steve Young and Joe Montana. True. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I'm not denying that. But what I am going to point out to you is Joe Montana's season where he had the most attempts, which I think was 88. His season with the most attempts would have been Tom Brady's fewest attempts.
Wow. Okay.
What I'm saying is they didn't pass the ball as much as they do now.
Yeah.
So when you look at the numbers that Brady and Peyton Manning and all these other guys that have played post 2000, we're passing the ball way more than we used to. So the numbers are going to be different, right? We're seeing passing numbers. You know, you look at all the top 10 passers have played in the last 15 years, right? When you look at it that way, but I will say this: we see passing numbers going up, right? Because everybody's passing, but you know whose numbers aren't getting caught?
Jerry's.
You would think with all the passing that we do, some receiver would be close. You would think that, but no.
That's fair point. Yep. That is very fair.
So when I say not all numbers, those numbers are a little bit different because it's a wide gulf, right? And he did with fewer pass attempts per game, right? Like, again, I know I'm biased because that's my dude.
Yeah.
But smarter people, better football minds than me have said, there's an argument for Jerry Rice being the best football player ever. There's an argument. I'm not going to make it because I'm biased. People smarter than me have made that. And I'm just like, yeah. Because you know, what people are doing to LeBron, talk about he's stat padding, he's holding on. That's what happens when you have a long career, right? People think, oh, you just adding on numbers and blah, 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 blah. Again, I point out, Jerry Rice had every career receiving record week 1 of his 9th year.
That's crazy.
He was the 1985 Offensive Rookie of the Year. And game 1 of the 1994 season, he scored more touchdowns than anybody else in NFL history. And no one's particularly close. I think the current player that's closest is Derrick Henry. And he would have to double his output to get within 30 touchdowns of Jerry.
He's like 32 or something now. So, yeah.
Like, it's entirely possible that record stands for 50 years or more. 202 total touchdowns. It's entirely possible that we don't see anybody get close to that.
And it all just goes to, like you said, this is back when teams were still running the ball too, because the running back position hadn't just kind of faded away like it has now. There's a guy on Twitter. I think I quote tweeted him, or I linked his Instagram, and he's an Eagles fan of all teams, OG the Beast, and it was killing him. But he said, "Look, I guess I got to be the one because some random fan went at Michael Irvin and said he couldn't play today." And this Eagles guy said, I guess I got to be the one to defend Michael Irvin, because Michael Irvin from 1991 to 1995. 91, he had 93 catches, 1,500 yards. 92, 78 catches, almost 1,400. 88 for 1,330 in 93, 79 for 1,200 in 94, 111 for 1,603 in 95. He said, that's great. There's a lot of receivers catch 100 balls. Okay, that's fine. But did you have a running back who was doing what Emmitt Smith was doing from 91 to 95, running for 1,700 yards in 92, 1,563 in 91, 1486 in 93, 1484 94, 1773 in 95 on 377 attempts. So to have a receiver still putting up those numbers with Emmitt running like that, and that goes back to the Bears fans who was throwing Mike the Rock. But we fussed and saying he ain't a Hall of Famer. But whatever, Bears fans.
Well, and look, I don't want to defend Troy Aikman either. I mean, he's my, but the thing too is you have to keep in mind with the way it's slanted toward passing. One, they weren't passing as much, and two, but you were going over the middle in those days.
Yeah. And Mike wasn't no burner. Mike wasn't no run deep over the top every time guy either.
But he had a quote, because he's always given a good quote, but he had a quote about why he did over the middle, and it's basically like, that's if you're not running this, then you need to run on back to wherever he grew up. Like that was his thing. But that's what they did back in those days, man. There was head hunting.
Yeah.
But Urban, hey, look, I tip my hat to him, man. Like he was catching those hospital balls because you had to. That was the difference. He wasn't alligator arming it.
And you watched the Jerry Jones doc on Netflix. He was running that bang 8. He said, Troy throw that bang 8. You see smoke coming off of it, and that baby just stopped right there, and I catch it. But again, the accuracy to where he was able to, play game in and game out because Troy wasn't out there hanging him out to dry.
Yeah. It was just a different game.
Yeah.
Again, the numbers we're seeing these quarterbacks put up, you can't compare. Right. The craziest thing to me is up until about 15 years ago or 10 years ago, Johnny Unitas was still like top 15 in yards. And that dude played way back when it was 14 game seasons. And they wasn't even doing the forward pass like that.
Yeah.
That's the dude, because I remember when Peyton Manning he broke like consecutive like passes without an interception, something like that, or something with about touchdowns, that Peyton Manning broke the record that Johnny Unitas had.
It's crazy.
So again,
and he was calling his own plays and getting Deacon Jones slapping him upside the head when he getting sacked, and
but in terms of yardage right now, Unitas and Montana are 19 and 20. Right above them is Kerry Collins. And like I said, getting ready passing yardage is Andy Dalton. But come on, man. Like, if your life depended on it, I know you're not a Niners fan. Are you going to go with Kirk Cousins? Are you going to go with Joe Montana?
Man, yeah.
I mean, and Troy is a little bit farther down the list, but we start looking at quarterbacks. I'm not going to go too deep before I get to Troy Aikman. When you start talking about all-time greats, because for me, yes, the numbers are one thing, but it's when you do it. When do you do it? That matters more than numbers to me. And I watched Troy Aikman win games for the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Yeah.
People get distracted because, you got Emmitt Smith and you got this. Troy made plays. The muddy game in Candlestick.
Yeah.
Because Troy, Dana Stubblefield and those boys was roughing Troy up. But he was standing there delivering that ball back when quarterbacks could get hit. That's the thing, too. Like, you had to stand in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't the defenders trying to slide back. No. Because you had like 3 steps. You could throw it, defender 1, 2, 3, and you still were getting hit back in those days. So again, don't make me defend people I don't want to defend.
Yeah.
To be plus another thing, people like the NFC East in particular played on horrible fields. The Vet, the Meadowlands, RFK, Old Dallas Stadium, the old turf. Terrible, right? Like I know the fields aren't great now, but it ain't playing on concrete.
Yeah.
I mean, how many careers do we see get ended at the Vet?
Michael Irvin, we just talked about.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like how many people got sniped there? How many people got sniped at Candlestick being underwater in the soggy field? So, I know people because I've seen that before. Because who was it? Somebody got Troy Aikman about how he's a Hall of Famer a few years ago, and he was like, "Hey, you better Google who I am." I forgot who it was. It was about you look at these numbers. You can't just look at numbers with football, man.
Like, what impresses you more? I mean, 3 is more than 2, but Troy's 3 or Eli's 2? Which ones carry more weight?
Right. And
I know he beat the Patriots twice, but the role Troy played in Dallas was 3, and the role Eli played in New York's 2.
Yeah, man. So you can't be numbers because, we're going to end up, I think, right now. Oh, also top 6 or 7 all time in passing yards is Matt Ryan.
Wow.
And I know he got the MVP, blah, 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 blah. But how many quarterbacks would you name before you put Matt Ryan if your life depended on it?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying there's a lot of guys with a lot of passing yards that it's just like.
Some of them are hollow. Like, it's like, was it A-Rod for a time there? He was the king of just hitting a 3-run homer when it was already 9-1. That's not a bottom of the 9th with the game on the line. Aaron Judge catching heat now because have all these great regular seasons. What you doing in October?
Right,
because that's nowhere to be seen.
Because that's how we separate the great ones. I tell you, we saw A-Rod on the other day. You know what I was thinking about? Like even back when he was with Seattle, I don't know if I've ever met an A-Rod fan. Like. I don't know if I've ever in the wild, like I've met fans of other people, but I don't know if I've ever met like an A-Rod fan. Like it's weird as good as he was, and he was good. Let's not be crazy about it. But there's nothing about him that's like, I'm gonna rock with that dude.
Yeah.
That just the weirdest kind of thing. Like I don't even have an equivalent in any of the other sports because it seems like everybody's got their people, but A-Rod.
Because remember, he tried to knock the ball out of the first baseman's hand when he was with the Yankees. Look, he tried to yell to do something to distract. It's always this little, I don't even know the word, just shenanigans and just stuff he trying to do. Who does that? Who knocks the ball out? I mean, little leaguers don't even do that.
But I mean, as far as great players, like I was thinking back to the 90s. Like, I don't remember ever seeing like an A-Rod fan. Like when those Mariner teams were very, very good. Oh yeah, Junior and Jay Buhner and Edgar Martinez. Oh yeah, but
awesome.
But I just think that I've never met one, and we met. If you are an A-Rod fan, let me know because I don't think I've ever seen one. And talk about empty stats. That MVP season when he was down in Texas, like. To me, it matters when you do things. And I don't know if you saw, I was very disappointed in the ESPN doc on the 98 home run race. Come to find out, it was done by a Cardinals fan. And so I was like, because, it's 2 hours, we're a half hour in, and we've been focusing on Mark McGuire's rise at USC and going to the athletics. And I'm like, all right, there's another person with this, which I think it's fascinating how someone can get from the Dominican Republic to Major League Baseball, but that was glossed over. And so my highlight is Jim Riggleman, the Cubs manager at the time, looked like he was doing this against his will. Like hurry up, let's get this over with, talking about this. But the point he made in that 98 home run race was at some point in August, the Cardinals were far enough back where the games didn't matter. But Sammy was doing it chasing for a pennant, right? Chasing for a postseason. Like, so it was just different what Sammy was doing on top of the home run thing, also trying to get his team into the playoffs.
Yeah, a lot more pressure.
Right. And so the decisions that pitchers were making were different than what McGuire got. And so it goes back to, it matters when you do it. You know, I think, you know, we talked about Timmy Smith and the Washington team. Hey, man, if you're going to only rush for 200 yards in the game once, do it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. Unbelievable.
Like, just that's the time to do it. If you're David Tyree, you're going to make a crazy catch, do it in the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah.
But to me, it matters when you do stuff, right? Because you got game pressure on.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell folks when I talk about Brock Purdy. You know, that big debate: is he good? Is he not good? He stepped into a Super Bowl or bust team, and his first start was against Tom Brady, and like every game meant something. Right? So other rookies, you're starting for a terrible team. You can learn as you go, but no, getting put into that spotlight. These games mean something.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, it's. I think it's a little bit different. You know, people. I think when you look at where players get drafted, a lot of time, poor coaching because they're going to bad teams, or if they're going to be a rookie, hey, these games mean something. That was the problem with Darko in Detroit. Hey, the Pistons trying to get out here and win.
No.
We ain't got time to bring a rookie along. Right? Like, you know, so I think it's all different when you look at it like that. Because when you do it matters.
That's it. Yeah, for sure. For sure. No smooth transition, but we can't not talk about D'Angelo, man. We talked about him a lot through the years, just randomly at different points in times. We had JR on here. I don't know if he came up and we had talked about it with him, but I remember you talking about, you know, he wrote that. He was 21 years old with that first album with
Brown Sugar,
Brown
baby.
Sugar album. Yeah. So, I mean,
you used to call me Brown Sugar because my moves are so sweet with ladies. That is not a true statement. That is not a true statement. But Brown Sugar is, to me, my first no skip album. And I shared this with the wife. To Brown Sugar was, you know, because my dad was way older. He was, you know, 40 when I was born. My brother Kenneth, 17-year gap, right? So I explained to like, my brother did not like rap music because he was older, right? And so very much R&B, very much that kind of soul stuff.
Yeah.
But long story short, when I got Brown Sugar, I let them listen because I had been listening to rap and hip hop and all this kind of stuff. My dad like, that's a bunch of noise. My brother's like, you don't get it, blah, 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 blah. And this was the album that was, oh, okay, your generation is going to be okay.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay. Because I remember my dad saying, oh, Smokey can't get cruising back.
Ooh.
And so listening to Brown Sugar from way back when was like, oh, okay. Brown Sugar, Lady, High, like,
yeah.
I mean, that was just no skips, man. Like, and it was just, you know, I was talking earlier about, you know, college football, about feeling. That's what music is about, right? Music is that one thing where that song will take you back, right? And give you that feeling the first time you heard it or whatever. And the fact that D'Angelo only gave us 3 albums,
Yep.
each one a classic in its own.
Yeah.
Each one defining whatever you wanted to, like, just, I mean, that's 3 for 3 with no skips.
Yeah.
Like, that's unheard of. And just, that's what, and looking back, I don't remember during the pandemic, the verses, they just let D'Angelo come on and play music and talk to us.
Yeah, not even
which is one of my favorite ones, because I saw D'Angelo verses. I'm like, oh, I don't know who he gonna put up here, but whoever he put up against him,
yeah, they gonna lose.
Yeah, just and again, the commercial stuff, but it was those deep cuts that made you feel something, man. One of the greatest love songs is the one with him and Lauryn Hill.
Nothing even matters. Yeah,
like that to me feels like two people exchanging vows. Like they just nothing matters. I'm not gonna do it justice with me singing.
Now my team could score and make it to the Final Four. Just repossess my 4x4. Nothing even matters. That boy.
And so it's one of those things, and I share this a lot. It's a quote from Ethan Hawke. I'm sure you probably seen me posted, where he talks about the arts, and people think they don't need the arts, right? We don't need to support musicians. We don't need to support painters. We don't. But until you feel something that you're like, has anyone ever been in love like this? And then you hear Higher by D'Angelo. Woo!
Yeah, that organ, man.
And you like, that's what I like. He's put to words and music what this feeling is. And so that kind of stuff matters. It's important, right? When you to help us get through this life, there's moments where it's like, okay, that song captures how I feel. It's like the first dance song. It's like a song that you play with your kids or something like that. This is what I'm feeling in this moment. That's it. And there's a short list of, to me, there's a very short list of what does love feel like? It feels like Stevie Wonder's ass.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What is it? And not to get too emotional, but for me, his song "Now That I Found My Smile Again."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I listened to that. That's a good. That was my song when I found my new wife, because I didn't think I was gonna find love again. But you see what I'm saying? Like you latch on to it, and I think when we talk about the kids and young kids' music, and I'm gonna go on a little side rant right here. When you look at some of the greatest albums and output, like D'Angelo doing Brown Sugar at 21.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Look what the Beatles did in their mid-20s. Look what Stevie did, because people forget Stevie was young. He was a young Motown guy, and then when he gets into his 20s,
he was little Stevie.
You're right, and that in those mid-20s, think about Outkast. Think about what we got before they turned 30.
Mm-hmm.
When we start thinking about that, in the Jimi Hendrix and all those, but
Stevie like 25, 26 with songs in the Key of Life, but Intervisions, he early 20s. All that year before that,
Yes, that's what I'm saying. To do it that early, to have that all come together that early. But yeah, D'Angelo, man, he. I mean, again, you got 3 albums, no skips.
Mm-hmm. And just the first one came out, and I think I like the Voodoo album out of the 3. That's my favorite, but no disrespect to Brown Sugar, at all. Enjoyed it, and that's why I was so excited for Voodoo. It's like, hey, it's been 5 years. D'Angelo got something else out, and then you go 14 years, the Black Messiah album. You and I hadn't been doing this long at all, and Malice and Mario in Seattle, who let us play their music and came on here back when our audio was terrible and you can barely hear it and all that. But I remember tweeting with her how excited we all were. D'Angelo got an album dropping after 14. We couldn't wait because of what he'd done. Body of work, his first two. Sure, he didn't have 20 albums, but when he did put something out, you loved it. It moved you, and that's why when you heard, oh, here he's coming out with something else, you couldn't wait because you enjoyed the first two so much that you knew that you're gonna love the third one. You just, I'm gonna love this one.
I mean, that news yesterday was just it was a gut punch, man. Because I'm still playing Brown Sugar, like I'm 30 years later, and
Spotify end of the year stuff. I didn't even got to look. I already knew it's D'Angelo. Just like back when I had my 91 Maxima in my 12-disc CD changer, D'Angelo, Brown Sugar, and Voodoo stayed in there. They never came out. It was a 10-disc changer because them two was in there.
Well, and he wrote "You Will Know" for the Jason's Lyrics soundtrack. I'm like, oh, I didn't. How did I not know that? But that he did that at 19. Like, goodness. Yeah, man. That's he for folks our age. He was our guy. Now, Flage. Her retrospective, she plays ball down at LSU. Talking about she likes old school music, and then she said like Charlene by Anthony Hamilton. I'm like, well,
no, she did.
I had a full-time job, and I'm not comfortable with that being old school. But 30 years ago, almost 20 years ago, whatever. Yeah. But Anthony Hamilton was a background singer for D'Angelo for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And D'Angelo and Angie Stone had a son together.
Yeah.
And so now he's lost both his parents within 6-7 months of each other. For that young man, that's
heart goes out to him. But just so I listened to Brown Sugar yesterday. I listened to of course Apple Music is on it. They already had 30-song thing for D'Angelo, and it's just it's feel good music, man. It's love. But it's not even about husband and wife love or boyfriend girlfriend. It's just love, man. Like that's the only way I can explain it. And as he said, he deals in black music. And I'll say this, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I don't know a group of people that can take crap and turn it into sunshine better than black people. Whether it's food or whatever we go through, that music, it moves you. That's what I told my dad, my brother, like, hey, I know y'all think we all doing this bebop and stuff, but hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Check this out.
And they approved. That's what flipped them.
Yeah.
That's the 90s artists that they was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay. That's like awesome. y'all gonna be all right. So
Brown Sugar, what was it? The Brown Sugar album was done it.
Well, the name helped, right? The name helped a little bit on that, but yeah, just
D'Angelo, R&B singer we're talking about that we kind of grew up with, Michelle. 51 years old, he passed away. He had pancreatic cancer, had a long battle. So that's the albums had him. Terry and I were teenagers when his first album came out because he's 2 or 3, 4 years older than we are.
Yeah.
And he's 21 with this really mature, wise beyond his years, love songs, compilations of songs that it's got the old soulful sound. Yeah, you can pull them up and sample them if you like. A lot of good music. Got a guy Huber coming in too. Yeah, but yeah, we like you said, all his albums. He only did 3 albums from 95 until 2014. 95, the first album, Brown Sugar. 2000, the Voodoo album. 2014, the Black Messiah album. And we love all of them. And we couldn't come on here and not talk about him. But yeah, that's what happened. 51 years old, pancreatic cancer. Yeah. Yep. Huber knows. Sure does. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and that organ to get you a little bit of that, that church feeling, man. Like
organ,
just
ain't nothing like an organ. Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing like an organ at all, man.
And I was just thinking I forgot what song I was listening to. I need singers bring orchestras back, man. Mm-hmm. He had some strings on his version of Cruising, and bring that back, man. Bring because even Shaft had an orchestra. Like bring that,
and just
bring that back.
The little violins and all that, just a little bit. Yep. Ray Charles starting that back with Georgia, when he had the whole everybody in the studio.
Yeah, bring that back. But yeah, I had to give a shout out to D'Angelo. Just 3 albums and just goated.
Yeah, for sure.
I do the how does it feel? I do that sometimes when I get out of the shower. Got my
falsetto coming through.
Yeah. Well, my daddy is James Brown. Maybe not the one you think about, but he is.
That's right. So that's how we had to end the show talking about D'Angelo. I'm gonna come up to Lexington. I'm about to meet you, Huber, and meet you in person. Get some of this flyness in the flesh. But so I'll definitely highlight you, man.
Yeah.
But appreciate everybody jumping in the comments. Michelle, Jason, listeners and watchers and people that tune in on a regular basis. I always appreciate it. Be back next week, and we'll be 2 days away from the Purdue game. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, we're gonna beat Texas.
That's right. Yeah, and shock the world off this bye week. Got to get Arch rattled. Brad White, have a little something for him, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
That's right. So, man, everybody stay safe. Keep trying to stay cool for another week or two, TV, before you have to flip the stand warm. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
But we'll be back next week, y'all. Go Cats! It's basketball time. It's here. So be rocking and rolling and ready to enjoy this ride we own. PS3 Network, Cats Talk Wednesday, Terry TB Brown. This is Vinny Hardy. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week.